people. Can I get a hello? Welcome to another episode of the Hello Effect Podcast. With me, your host, Zeke, aka Mr. Hello. On today's episode, we got a special guest. She go by the name of Daisy Grant. She has a non-profit. It's called Daisy Grant Cares. Welcome to the Hello Effect Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, for sure. First and foremost, I like to ask all my guests, how you doing? How's your Sunday going so far?
I'm well. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. Happy to be here.
Well, that's what's up. Just to give a little context, people that's watching, this is my first time actually meeting her in person. I don't even know how we became friends on social media. Probably because you from Newark and we probably got mutual friends if we dig deeper in it. But I just admire the things that you're doing for the community, especially in 2025, because as you can see, there's a lot of things that's happening out here, especially in our community, and I feel like nobody really cares enough to really want to do something. Everybody cares about themselves, so just give the people a little background, how long you had your nonprofit and what inspired you to start your nonprofit and things like that.
So it's clear that there is poverty in the city of Newark and has been for my entire existence. So my passion and my love for giving started at a very young age because I saw some of my friends, some of my peers, having a harder time than I did.
Yeah.
So that kind of ignited the desire for me to support and give. I just didn't know how I would translate it in the future. But eventually, I had my own life or death experience, and also through that, being misplaced from my apartment. So there's a lot of different forms for or ways that a person becomes homeless, and you don't necessarily see every facet of homelessness. You only see one depiction of it. It's drug abuse,
Yeah.
alcoholism. Those are usually the only signs of homelessness, but it can be a number of things. And in my case, there was carbon monoxide. I suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning and internal bleeding
I'm sorry to
due to there being a gas leak in my apartment. So for the entire 8 months that I lived there, there was a gas leak. And after even being hospitalized, losing a major organ, having blood transfusions, I still had the gas leak in the same apartment. And the gas leak wasn't discovered until I had already lived there for 8 months. By that point, I was expecting my daughter, and it was just a circumstance that would not allow for me to stay there. It was too negligent, and I had already experienced
Yeah,
a
for
close
sure.
to death experience. So, in my recovery time is when I spent that's when I was like, okay, I have to repurpose my life. I'm getting another chance. The things that I'm passionate about, whatever it is that I want to do, I'm going to execute on it. And I also I want to show a lot of gratitude for a second chance.
Yeah.
So, in that time that I was recovering, I started to coupon
Oh yeah, I
specifically
remember
for
that.
the
Yeah,
homeless,
yeah. Okay.
specifically for the homeless, and that ignited Daisy Grant Cares, and that was 2017. So I've been going strong since then.
Well, congratulations to that.
Thank you.
I'm happy to hear that. Do you feel like you get the support from the community?
I do get the support. I do get support from the community. It's not as I don't get as much national or statewide or government coverage. That's the portion of it that I don't receive. But I do feel like the people have supported me over the years, and they have been a strong reason in why I've been able to be consistent and continue to do what I'm doing. However, we are definitely in need of a lot more support, and also more people that are willing to not only donate their money but donate their time to the organization.
So if somebody wanted to volunteer and donate their time, they just had to reach out to you.
Yeah, they can visit my website, which is daisygrantcares.com. There is a join tab, and it'll ask for some basic information. And then once they do that, I would reach out via email and let them know our availability, what's the next dates that we have, the locations that we're going to be serving, and then they can come out, whatever days, fits their schedule.
So what you need done, like per se, if somebody did want to volunteer, like name some things that you need, like help for us.
So the volunteer portion is coming out to the actual location where we're serving and actually assist in serving.
Okay.
During Ramadan, that's going to be a time where volunteers are going to be more needed, specifically because I serve every single day. I have a 1,500 meals program that this will be the third year that
I seen that last year.
I
seen
will
that.
be doing. So daily support is needed as far as like volunteers that can pick up food, deliver food, serve food. It'll just help relieve some of the responsibility from me because I'm still a mom and I still have other businesses that I'm also working as well.
Let me ask you a question. Was there any time that you felt like giving up? Because I feel like you just giving your time, and like you said, you have a daughter, and you still had to work to pay your bills. Was there any moment that you felt like giving up? Can you?
One time that I considered postponing my outreach because I do go out once a month, and I've been doing that since 2017. And that was sometime in 2023, towards the last quarter of 2023. And honestly, it was just mainly because there weren't no donations. There wasn't any donations coming in. And normally, when there aren't any donations coming in, I fill the gap with my own personal money. But at that time, it just was not feasible for me to do. And I had to reconsider. I mean, Allah made a way so that I haven't had to stop, but that was the only time. And it's usually just around the finances because it is costly to feed the homeless, provide, quality food, provide them with hygiene products, all of that cost. And we are not state or federally funded. So all of my donations are individual based. And that's the people. If the people don't donate, then it's not coming in. And for many years, it was out of my pocket. For about the first 4.5 years, Daisy Grant Cares operated solely from my own pockets.
Okay. So did you ever try to get state or federal gun funding?
I have not tried to get state or federal funding because I have not seen any grant opportunities. However, I do apply to grants that I could find where the companies are looking to serve inner cities or looking to serve programs like a nonprofit that specifically caters to the homeless. So it's not easy. And then you're up against thousands of other organizations. So you can apply, but that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be awarded the grant.
That's true. What do you like when you have like you give food to the homeless? If it's certain areas, is it like do it at a recreation center? Like, what do you host these things at?
Initially, I started at Penn Station in Newark.
Okay.
That was our hub for many years. The pandemic came, and once that happened, the mayor made sent out like a memorandum to the public through social media indicating that well-meaning organizations could no longer serve at Penn Station. You had to partner with like a soup kitchen or a shelter. So at that point, one of the last times that I was at Penn Station, the police arrived and they were kind enough to allow me to finish serving, but they did give the warning that moving forward, if you fed there, you could be cited. You'd be required to evacuate the location. And so I just partnered with a local shelter in Newark, and I've been there since.
Well, what was it based off of? Because I feel like you're doing something good for the
Well,
people. Why run me away? I'm not doing nothing negative. I'm trying to. Y'all not feeding the people at the end of the day.
Well, I think here it's the time frame. So it was COVID.
Okay.
So at that time, they're trying to manage based off of what I'm sure the FDA and major pharmaceutical companies are suggesting, the quarantine protocols that were suggested, and that is a hub for homeless people. So that was one reason, the communal of a bunch of people being in one area, this, contagious virus and the spread. And these are usually, most homeless people are already immune compromised. They're not getting the best health care. So it just wasn't the best type of situation, I'm assuming, was the city's perspective. And also, the neighboring businesses in that area, you do have groups that will come out and they will serve, but they don't clean up. And they leave their trash, they're leaving pans of food, and the area is now depreciating in its appearance because the people that are coming out are not actually cleaning behind themselves. So for a group like mine, my organization, the homeless in that area being very familiar with us, even some of the police officers being familiar with us in the area, they knew that we weren't the problem. But you have others that don't have the same consideration. And then here's the thing, when it comes to the cleanliness of the area and how the homeless also treat the area. When they see we show up with, we have our own trash bags, they see us clean, so when they finish eating, they actually go to the trash cans. Okay. But I've witnessed where the homeless would throw stuff on the ground when they see the people delivering the food is doing the same thing. I got you. So those businesses that were in the area, it was hard for them to get business because of what the environment looked like.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think there was a number of reasons that would cause for the mayor to say you should, find local soup kitchens or shelters that you can partner with to continue your work, but not in this particular area. So that's what essentially that's what I did.
Okay. For somebody who's inspired to do the same thing as you, like starting a nonprofit, could you give them like how they'll go about it? Because a lot of people don't have the information or the resources.
Well, everybody that has a phone has the resource and has the information. You just have to be willing to use your phone. If you can get on Instagram, you can That's Google true. How to start a nonprofit, and it is the same protocol with starting any business. It is considered it's a business. Yeah, so you're going to go to the state's website on forming a business. You're going to look to see if that business name has already been acquired. If not, then you would be able to start the business using that name. You would go through the process of getting a free EIN number, which is an employee identification number. And with that and combined, once you go through the prompts, which is literally can probably take 30 minutes tops online, you're going to go through the prompts of indicating that it's a nonprofit organization when you're registering the business. And once you pay the fee, which I think in total I might have spent maybe $150 or something like that. Once you pay the fee to own the business, you're going to immediately get your documentation that the business has been registered with the state, your formation documents, and then from there you can open up a bank account. And at that point, you can then also apply for your federal and sales tax exemptions.
Okay, that's great information. So you said, if I'm not mistaken, you started this in 2017?
Yes.
All right, so, like, in the future, like, where do you see Daisy Krant Cares, like, far as, like, from when you started from 2017? It was an idea because you said you went through the homeless because of the apartment, things like that.
So the ultimate goal is to, I want to be able to end homelessness, at least in my community. Yeah. That being the start. It's not really about feeding people. It's about giving people the tools to actually sustain on their own, giving them the resources that would allow them to acclimate with the society again, be able to financially manage their money, also having a trade or a skill that will allow them to maintain a job so that they can maintain their, a livable wage and a lifestyle. So essentially, I want to get to the point where my foundation is transitional. It helps you go from this place to where you want to be. And whether that be housing programs or assisting in, the realm of financial literacy, that's eventually where I want my company to go.
Okay, that's cool.
And not just feeding the homeless, because after a while you just simply enable. You know, I don't want to be an enabler. I want to be someone that it could actually assist them to recovering everything that they lost in life and actually providing themselves with a livable lifestyle.
So pretty much giving them the tools that people send, because I feel like people treat you different, like once you homeless and stuff like that. And like you said, you could be homeless from different reasons. It's not automatically drugs. I feel like people think it's just drugs, the reason why a person is homeless. And I think everybody has a second chance at life. And that's great that, like I said, you taking your time that you could be doing, spending with your kids, or just doing with your life, and you choose to do that. Um, so what kind of fundraisers do you do to draw like donations and things like that?
Social media.
You get donations this through social media.
Well, that's how I crowdfund. So I crowdfund through social media. I just let people know what we're raising money for, how much money is needed, and I just post as we receive the donations. I always update how much we've received, how far we are from the goal, and that's been the method for Daisy Grant Cares all this time. However, like I said, I do apply for grants. It's a harder game. I know online people say, "Oh, you can get free money, grant money." There's thousands, if not millions, of people that are applying for the
Oh
same
yeah, for
grant.
sure. Yeah.
So having something so appealing is, it can be difficult. And also, when it comes to homelessness and organizations that specifically cater to the homeless, most companies have a very shaky rapport, or they're not trustworthy.
Yeah.
So some companies are more skeptical, and if you don't have a direct connection into someone that's employed there, one of their employees is a board member, it's a lot harder to get the kind of funding that I would need in order to really elevate Daisy Grant Cares. Right now with individual donations, we're only able to secure a few dollars a month. On average, I would need at minimum $2,500 a month just to do one feeding. And some months we don't even raise $500.
That's what I was gonna ask. That's my
So,
next question. Like, how do you stay motivated when the funding and support is not there?
well, my passion for it has nothing to do with the people. It has more to do with me. It has more to do with my beliefs, and it also has more to do with what I believe is the right thing to do. Now, whether other people support, I don't really make that my focus, because that wasn't the reason why I did it. Like I said, I had a second chance at life, and I really wanted to repurpose why I was here. So that's my mission. And I just invite people to, do something good, in hopes that they will also receive a reward from it as well. But I think that, like I said, the only time that I considered postponing was in 2023, and that was just simply because I could not afford to maintain those monthly servings without the help. And but thank God that I was able to actually receive a very nice donation from someone that allowed me to continue for the remainder of that year.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Shout out to that whoever that person is.
Yeah.
Um, so you say you teamed up with a shelter.
Yes.
So is it a certain day of the month? Like when do you do these feedings?
So every third weekend of the month, between either Friday to Sunday, whichever day is available for me. Like I said, I do have other companies, and I do work outside of Daisy Grant Care. So whatever day is available, but usually the third weekend of every single month, I'm feeding at the shelter.
Okay. So far as because like I said, I don't know anything like far as like the shelter things like that. Do you have to be in the shelter to be able to get that? Like the feeding and things like that?
At that particular shelter, yes. Now, if I were to go out on the streets again, then it's whoever is out there.
Okay.
But for that shelter, we specifically serve the residents and the staff that are there. And we're serving about 50 to 60 people each time that we go to the shelter. And so that's what I've been doing as of the last maybe three years of getting a job, and also a few that got clean, that stopped using, and were able to relocate back with their family. So I've had a few of those stories. Unfortunately, when it comes to feeding, because our my resources are just limited to the food and the hygiene and the clothing. um, I'm not in a place where I could assist with actually transitioning them. So I hope that, when I come and I show up, that they see that someone cares, someone believes enough in them to want to see them well, want to see them feel good. Providing hygiene and clothing. We've partnered with a brand called Guys, and that brand was also a sponsor for us, and we provided a full wardrobe for the entire shelter.
That's what's up.
And I mean, this is a brand that Jay-Z wears. This is a brand that top executives are in this clothing company, Guys. GUISE. They were willing to support my efforts, and we were able to give everybody in the shelter coats, sweatsuits, jeans, sneakers, underclothes. I mean, you name it, they all got a completely full wardrobe, from a size small to a size 4X. And so just kind of giving them that motivation. Sometimes, they don't have the resources to purchase soap. They don't have the
That's true.
resources to purchase hygiene products. So when I come in and I'm providing them enough to last them till the next time they see me, it gives them more of a more motivation to say, you know what, I smell good today, I look good today, I feel good. I'm gonna go apply for this job. I'm gonna go and do something different, and maybe it might work. And for a few guys at the shelter that I serve, it did work for them. They were able to secure a job. One actually working at the ShopRite on Springfield Avenue and Irvin Turner. They were hired there to work there. So, like I said, within 30 days, once they are hired, they are required to move out of the shelter.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, they're required to move out of the shelter within 30 days of receiving a job. So just having that, and seeing them not come back is also really nice. It's sad to see people go because you grow an attachment to them, but it's also nice to see that they're no longer there. So that's the impact that we've had. I personally prepare these meals, and I've served over 20,000 meals since 2017. So we've helped people not just near, but we've also supported individuals in Egypt, Jamaica, Trinidad. We've served people in Texas, Virginia, New York, Philadelphia. We've gone out a few times to Kensington. Kensington is an area that is
Philly, yeah,
predominantly drug infested.
yeah.
And it's so bad. The police officers are just there to make sure that whoever dies can, be picked up off the street, or that the people that are doing the drugs are not harmed while they're there. But they're not stopping them from using the drugs. So they're openly using the drugs, and you can see how much devastation the drugs have caused in that area, where you can see that some people, they don't even have veins. You can see that they've stuck themselves all over their bodies to try to find veins just to get high. But when you come through, one of the last times that I was there, one of the women that was out there, she too is also Muslim, but she wasn't covered. And she asked me if I had an extra scarf, because she wanted to cover. Now, even through her addiction, she still wanted to be a better version of herself. And fortunate, I had an extra scarf in my car, actually one that was gifted to me from my grandmother when she went to Italy. And even though it was sentimental to me, it was more sentimental that, even through her struggle, she still wanted to have a connection with Allah. And that could have been the one thing that could have drawn her closer, or could have gotten her, off the street. I'm not sure, but that's the type of impact you want to make on people, and that's the type of impact I believe I've had, in these last few years that I've been serving the homeless community.
That's good. I want to take this time right now just to give you your flowers. You know what I mean? I want to tell you, You're doing an amazing job. And like I said before, that's one thing that came across my feed when I seen you was supporting the homeless, and you didn't give up, because it's really hard to trust people these days that they do right by the people when they get the money. But I see nothing but good in you, and that's why I try to do like share it and get the message out, and continue to do what you do.
Thank you.
Before we get out of here, just let people know once again where they could find you at. They're looking to help out. They're looking to donate. Just drop all your social medias, your website, and things like that.
So first things first, everyone, I would highly recommend that you visit our website, daisygrantcares.com, to see what we're about, see what we've done. We've been featured on NBC, so there's a nice visual of the community efforts. There's also a few docu-series that I've done that just shows you and kind of gives you the walk, the day-to-day of what I'm doing for those that are not familiar. And the way that you can donate, you can always reach me through the website, which is daisygrantcares.com. You can also make a donation through PayPal, Daisy Grant Cares. We have Zelle, which is daisygrantcares@gmail.com. Also, Cash App is #Daisy Grant, Venmo @Daisy Grant, and my social handles are Daisy Grant on Instagram and Daisy Grant on Facebook as well, and they can find me either those places as well.
Yeah. Once again, you said every third Thursday, or
every third weekend, every third weekend of each month. So between that Friday to Sunday, I will always post the dates on my Instagram and Facebook pages, as well as there's a calendar on the website that will have each date. During the month of Ramadan, which will start March 1st to March 30th, we will be, this will be our third annual 1,500 Meals program. It's our Meals of Mercies, where we will go and feed the homeless every single day, each day during the month of Ramadan, and our goal is 50 people per day. We will be at the Helping the Homeless Inc. shelter in Newark, New Jersey, which the address is 269 Mount Prospect in Newark, New Jersey, and we will be feeding them each day during the month of Ramadan for the 30 days. We have a goal of raising $30,000, and we have only touched at raising $2,000 of that thus far.
Okay.
So we're just a few weeks out from the start, and I'm hoping that between now and then we're able to acquire the necessary resources and volunteers to see this 1,500 meals to completion.
Well, yeah, for sure. Anybody that's watching, make sure y'all follow her and make sure you donate support, because all we got is us at the end of the day. Once again, I want to thank you for coming on the Hello Effect podcast, just giving an insight of what your company do, and from me and to my team, everybody out there, we appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Make sure you follow all the socials, the topics and discussions we'll be talking about. This is another episode of the Hello Effect with me, your host, C, aka Mr. Hello.